Good morning, Facebook. Turn the volume up here. I'm going live on my page again this morning. We're going to be talking about the data center issue again this morning. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for people to come on here. Remember to like, comment, and share because this is extremely important information. If you haven't already joined my On Rebuttal with Christina Baisden page, it would be great if you could follow it and join it. Follow me. Hit the follow button up there, and I also have a subscription for $4.99 a month for me to be able to do this work. It's important work. People are crazy right now about these data centers. Y'all should keep in mind that it's retrograde too. Some of y'all need to learn how to respect the planets. If you believe in that sort of thing. I'll wait another minute. I almost got a handful of people on here and then we'll get started. It's going to be a beautiful day out today. Going to be in the 70s today and tomorrow, so I hope you're going to be outside enjoying it. It's going to be great. Spring is just around the corner, and I am over all the snow and the ice, so let's go. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. As you all know, I did a video earlier on this week about data centers and the one that's going in Ghent. And then, most of you probably know that Jen did a short little video yesterday. And I want to make something clear about that. Jen and I are best friends. That's true. We care about a lot of the same things. But we're not the same person. And we don't use the same resources as you all might think we do. But every now and again, our topics kind of coincide with one another because, not that I don't care about water. I care about water, and that's clear by the organization that I did trying to get water donated. And, you know, anyways, in my video that I did, I did not mention the NRGRDA, the New River Gorge Regional Development Authority, not one time. I did not mention Jenna Belcher, the executive director of that organization, not one time. So the fact that I'm being attacked because I reported on a data center that's going on in Ghent, isn't that kind of outing yourself? You're the one that made that connection. I didn't. Because if you're sitting here and you expect me to believe that an organization that does economic development in all of southern West Virginia and they have no knowledge of a data center going in, let me tell you, you can't fart on a property in southern West Virginia without this organization knowing about it. They know everything. Okay. Anyways, before Jenna Belcher deleted me yesterday, she was so kind as to put down a House bill number from last session. 2025 regular session, House Bill 2014, which I briefly did an overview of the contents of this bill in my original video, but I felt like it was important for me to dig down into this bill so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? This is important. Knowledge is power, right? I also want to say this. No, I'll wait. I'll wait and say that. All right. So House Bill 2014. Who were the sponsors of this bill? Because that's important too. And you all know I bring receipts. So anybody who sits out here and tries to make it seem like I don't, yeah, you can kick rocks. You can stay on your own page, okay? I'm not here for that. You're not going to drag me. You're not going to do it. I've been doing this too long. And I have a reputation that far exceeds yours at the moment, sir. All right. Delegate Hanshaw, which is Speaker of the House. Riley. Fehrenbacher. Anderson. I guess it's Zadazzolo. I guess that's how you say it. Akers, and I'm really disappointed to see Hornbuckle's name on here, to be honest. All right, I'm just going to jump down to some really important points here, okay? Jumping down to where it says data centers, 5B-2-21A. These bills are easy to find. By the way, excuse me, you can go on to the West Virginia Legislature bill tracker. If you want, I can post the link up here. You can look this bill up yourself and take a look at the whole entire thing. That'd be great. All right, it says findings and purpose. The legislature hereby finds and declares the following. Data centers represent a significant and growing sector of the economy. They're giving the whys. They're justifying the whys of bringing data centers here. Data centers represent a significant and growing sector of the economy, generating substantial economic activity, including jobs, infrastructure, investments, and technological innovation. We all know that the jobs are overstated, okay? It just is. You know, I talked about it in my last video, but just in case you missed it, in a large facility, the average employee number is 35, with only 20 of those being full-time. Now, of course, there's a spectrum there. That's, you know, the typical minimum. Could be more, but 35 for the impact that this data center is going to have, potentially. Yeah, it's not a fair trade-off. I don't know why they even said that. But anyway. Number 2, data centers are critical national infrastructure that require abundant, low-cost energy to protect sensitive data, operate high-level computation assets, and ensure the resilience of the digital economy. Number 3, the People's Republic of China is positioning itself to be the global leader of data centers and is investing in technology to encourage the flow of data towards China instead of towards the United States. It is in the United States' national security interests to limit the flow of data to China and to protect the flow of data and maximize computational power inside the United States. The president has declared that it is the policy of the United States, quote, to sustain and enhance America's global AI dominance in order to promote human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security, end quote. Removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence, Executive Order 14179, which apparently was signed January 23rd of 2025. 5, as of early 2025, the highest concentration of high-level computational power and data centers in the world is located in Loudoun County, Virginia. This severe concentration of data centers in one location is a national security vulnerability because it invites the potential for cyber attacks and espionage against the nation's critical data infrastructure. Now, that is something that I can agree with. Data centers have historically obtained their electricity from the electric grid, but some data center developers now seek or require the use of microgrids to provide their primary and backup power, which is what this bill creates. It creates a microgrid for them to tap into. West Virginia is strategically positioned as the best location in the United States to place data centers due to A, its close proximity to Washington, D.C. and the federal government. B, its close proximity to the majority of the nation's population. C, its low tax rates. D, it having the least restrictive regulatory environment in the nation. E, its supply of abundant energy and natural resources to power the data centers. F, its supply of resources such as coal mine methane blend with natural gas to assist data centers locating in West Virginia to meet their energy needs and environmental goals, which, again, in my last video, I talked about the pool of natural gas on that property in Gent, and that's one of the reasons why they were really interested in it. And G, and you're not going to believe this part. G, it's skilled, they're talking about West Virginia now. It's skilled and loyal workforce that has some of the lowest turnover rates in the nation. And I'm going to pause there for a second, because every single time they talk about West Virginia, they're like, get off your lazy ass and work. You're on the system, blah, 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 right? All negative stuff regarding our workforce, which is bullcrap, because West Virginians are one of the hardest working people I have ever met in my life. They are hustlers. If they can't make ends meet, they're going to find a side hustle, period. That's just who we are. And this is recognizing how loyal West Virginians are and how great we are. I wanted to highlight that because we can't have everybody talking out both sides of their mouth here. Okay? This is the truth. That part. All right, I'm going to skip down a paragraph and talk about program established. Okay? The High Impact Data Center Program is hereby created and is to be administered as a program within the Division of Economic Development to encourage the continued development, construction, operation, maintenance, and expansion in West Virginia of high-impact data centers. In order to effectuate the purposes of this section, the Division of Economic Development or any agency, division, or subdivision thereof may promulgate legislative rules, including emergency rules, in accordance with 29A31, which I did not look up that code, but that may be coming at a later time. So this is a long bill, guys, so just bear with me, okay? So on the next page here, it's under the section F5, 5B-2-21B, and it's authority to assist certified microgrid district projects and certified high-impact data center projects legislative findings. Okay, so skip down to Section 2, Part C. This section prohibits counties and municipalities, whether by ordinance, resolution, administrative act, or otherwise, from enacting, adopting, implementing, or enforcing ordinances, regulations, or rules which limit in any way the creation of or acquisition, construction, equipping, development, expansion, and operation of any certified microgrid district or certified high impact data center project. And number 2, counties and municipalities from imposing or enforcing local laws and ordinances concerning the creation or regulation of any certified microgrid district or certified high impact data center therein. So let's go down even further. It says certified microgrid districts and certified high impact data centers may not be subject to the following: county or municipal zoning, horticulture, noise. Remember, I talked about the turbine engine. My last video, talking about the backup generators that they had. Now, if they're connected to a microgrid, maybe the backup generators aren't going to be necessary, but I don't know that. Still going to be noise pollution. All right, what else? View shed, lighting. Another big complaint about data centers is the massive amount of lighting they have on the outside. Development and land use ordinances, restrictions, limitations, or, sorry, this thing is stapled. County or municipal building permitting, inspection, code enforcement, county or municipal license requirements. Anyways, you get the idea. They get free reign in our county without any of us saying so. They're saying that county people cannot affect data centers no matter what. That is our recourse signed away right here. It's in black and white, folks. Right here. All right. So, I talked about how the tax revenue from these data centers is being raked back, and Governor Morrisey made sure of this, that this was going to happen, that local communities would not benefit. I should say directly benefit. All right. So this is how they're distributing those funds that are being collected from the data centers. And let's see, what section is this? Let me figure this out really quick. Okay. It's special rules of tax distribution of high impact data centers. Okay. A, 50% shall be placed in the personal income tax reduction fund provided in 11B-2-33 of this code. So when Governor Morrisey was talking about the reduction of personal income tax, did you all know that this is how he was going to do it? Did he mention anything about data centers? And I don't recall. 30% goes to the Citus County, which is basically the county that it is located in. 10% goes to all counties on a per capita basis according to the most recent census. And 5% goes to the Economic Enhancement Grant Fund administered by the Water Development Authority. Uh, 11-6N-5, termination. The provisions of this article shall sunset, expire, and be of no force and effect on or after December 31st of 2055. So this legislation passed April 12th of 2025 and went into effect on July 11th of 2025. So, that's just the good parts. There's more. I may come back and revisit them, but I don't want this video to be, 2 hours long. All these different organizations, because the Public Service Commission is involved in this, because they have a microgrid, and they're being entrusted to manage these microgrids for these data centers and to come up with the rules and regulations for them. Right? So, there's the Public Service Commission. I keep hearing, oh, this is good. Just trust us. Trust us. The Public Service Commission gives us the highest utility rates in the nation. And we're supposed to, trust that they are going to operate these data centers on the up and not continue to give them some sort of kickback. Let's see. County Commission. Trust us. They're doing these data centers and we didn't know anything about it until I talked about it publicly, and Chris Burrows also reported on this. Trust us. The county commission is the same people who covered up Hatfield's actions. They're also the people that took away the track and field practice for a business center. Trust us. And our GRDA, trust us. They're the ones who brought us fruits of labor and seed sowers. For those of you that don't know, this is where they facilitated city-owned building to have just bought it for $1 million with taxpayer money here to give it to a for-profit business. Just so we can have occupancy downtown when that is our prime real estate. What about the one way on Kanawha Street that they want to implement right in front of the college? 2, I'm not saying that was in our GRDA, but I'm not saying they didn't know about it. Okay? We don't want that either. Trust us. I don't know how this bill got past all of us, because there's so many of us that just care about what's happening to our people and within our communities. So who is really advocating for us here? Who is? It's supposed to be our elected officials. But so far, our state and our county officials are all selling us out over this. And there's a way, and I'm going to stop right here, because there is a way that data centers could better benefit the people. They could go about it the right way, and they're not doing that here. I know there's a lot of controversy around data centers. I know a lot of you don't want it, and that's my stance. You should have a say-so. about what's coming into your neighborhood. Even if you don't want it there, you should reap some sort of benefit from it. And all the money goes to the county. Do you think that you are personally going to benefit from the funds that are going into the county with this? We all know that money doesn't trickle down. You'll never see it. You know, we talk about transparency, right? It's a big buzzword that people like to talk about is transparency, right? But transparency in practice means that you offer information, okay? And not have to request it all the time. I shouldn't have to put a FOIA request in to know details of something that's happening in the city of Beckley, which I have done I don't know how many times. So who, for the sake of transparency and for the benefit of the community, if you care about the community, who sounded the alarm? Because I know people who, when a bill comes before them and they're looking at it, they're saying, this is not good for my community, and I need to speak up and say, we need to either modify this bill or we need to vote it down. And I need you all to advocate. What do you want? None of this happened. None. None. So you can save me the I care about the community bullcrap. Okay? Save it. Contact your legislators, friends. We're stuck with this bill until 2055, but that doesn't mean we can't change it and modify it to better benefit our communities. Legislation is not written in stone. It can always be amended. The problem is that we should have never been sold out like this from the beginning. My friend Kara has put up a petition online about these data centers. It's on my timeline. Go find it. Go look it up. Go sign it if you agree with it. You know, people want to come against me and Jen when we're literally sometimes the only people to speak up because there's so many people afraid of retaliation. I do not give a shit, and you all know I don't, about retaliation. I don't care. Y'all are never going to silence me about what is best for our people. It has been this way since I began this work. So, as a community advocate, I'm doing my job. Okay? So you do your job and keep selling the people out, and I'll keep reporting on it.